problem or the youth question is actually not a problem of a lost generation, but a system that has actually lost young people.
We as young people are faced with the amendment of the NYDA Act of 2008. And I think this policy is one of the most important things that we really should be engaged in as young people, because a lot of us may have problems with the NYDA and have problems with how the NYDA in the past has been able to speak to the challenges that young people are facing and as to what role it should be playing in this generation and in assisting this generation to really find its full potential.
However, as the Youth League, I think we must insist that we need to vigilantly give substance to these resolutions in the interest of young people. As an example, the necessary transformation of the Reserve Bank should not just be about nationalizing its ownership, but critically, we must repurpose its mandate to go beyond price, stability, but also include unemployment targeting as a basis for its monetary stance that supports industrialization.
For me, the guiding question around youth development particularly is what are the ways in which development work responds to the different transitions that young people face and that young people encounter. And I think we see the gaps in misunderstanding these transitions very strongly. When you look at just the university space, I'm really glad that we have the new president of SAUS here today. Greetings, congratulations, and I hope that you'll do well in your term. But I think we see it in education where we go into the university space and it's such a big culture shock. It's such a multi-layered experience because we're managing so many transitions at the same time. And the way in which tertiary education is structured doesn't allow you to manage those transitions effectively. And it only expects you to focus on, for example, your academics, right? And so when you're now having to figure out a geographic transition, you've moved away from home to a new province, you are probably living by yourself for the first time. For most people, you can't actually afford fees. And so you're either looking for NSFAS or other funding options, or you don't have funding options at all. You may not actually have housing. There's all of those different transitions you're making that purely expecting you to focus on just the academic part of education is part of the reason why so many students struggle.
Now, I think this partially comes from the fact that we fear what the implications of our past history are, and we try and paper over these cracks. But I think we know that when we run business or we run an organization or even when we run a state, everything needs to be centered on values. And I think bringing back values in the way we define ourselves, values and culture is important. I don't think that democratically South Africa within the state, and this translates across public schools, higher education institutions, Department of Labor centers, NYDA centers, I don't think we've defined the values that we want to achieve as a country and as a society. And I think redefining the values that we want is the benchmark that can propel us, a redefined cultural appropriation as a country and a society that is driven through our young people.
I'm really inspired by the conversations and the ideas that come up. Statistics is looking in the rearview mirror. We're looking what's left behind, and we try to sometimes spotlight those that are left behind. And I don't think the youth or the adults or the children, we look at this holistic, but the ideas that come off is looking forward. And as a statistical organization, we don't talk about what's looking forward, but I'm glad that we provided the platform in terms of giving you some sort of context to the issues that are facing our nation at present.